To what things? There's nothing to react to. Nothing to react to. We've just been chatting with people. Just been chatting with people. He's back. Whoa. Very unhappy.
My very essence begins to wane. Sweet, sweet agony.
So he is a reflection, or a fragment, if you will, of Hermes.
Leave this to him.
Because you were asking if he remembered himself as Hermes.
Watching you struggle against the inevitable is bad comedy. Erase me from existence, soul and all.
Have you any memories of me, Tian? Do you recall your days as Hermes? We kind of got an answer about recalling his days as Hermes, but I am curious if he remembers anything about a Meteon. Do you have any memories of Meteon whatsoever?
How would you know that name?
That would be a long story to explain. I traveled back to Elpis, and now I came back to the future, and so I know all about your fragment that you were a part of.
Then it was you. In Elpis. With Emet. The final pieces fall into place.
Now remember, we did say there was a hinting of that once you return to the Ethereal Sea, you would remember more than your memories in the real world. And so if he, as a fragment of Hermes, well, I guess this is Hermes because he said this is his favorite face. You know, this was his favorite face to take. It is Hermes, but it's also Amon. That he might remember that there was someone in Elpis, and now he's connecting the dots that it's actually us that was in Elpis because he no longer has the memory lock from, you know, the spell that he cast himself.
In my halcyon days, as the mortal
Amon.
I was haunted by a
Amon.
dream. Night after night, the faceless multitude, the voiceless cries, shards of shattered memories. But slowly, the fog began to clear. This was Elpis. And I was Hermes. Recurring though it was, I paid this dream little heed. It was only when I was granted the seat and memories of Fandaniel that I knew these visions to be true. They were the memories of Hermes that he himself erased using the power of Kairos. Or so he thought. In his attempt to burn away the events of that fateful day, he succeeded only in searing them more deeply into his soul. My soul. Death failed to expunge them. No matter how many times it came. Rebirth after rebirth, from one Fandaniel to the next.
He mentioned as Fandaniel that he's lived so many times over and over.
I wonder, is Emet adrift somewhere in this Ethereal Sea? In defeat, finally remembering your time together in Elpis. How it must gall him to be entrusted with knowledge of the final days, only to be rendered powerless to act upon it. So many lifetimes dedicated to restoring his beloved Amara, in blissful ignorance. Oh, folly. But make no mistake. My life as Hermes is not the reason I invited the world's end. I have lived. I have struggled. I have dredged the very depths of despair. And in the detritus of existence, I found the truth.
The truth. The Ethereal Sea repairs the memory loss. Yeah, the Ethereal Sea washes away any memory spells they once died they all remember. Just like the professor said when talking about why they couldn't speak of the Great Exodus. Yeah. Yeah, and having to deal with the fact that he spent so long, again, as he said, all of his lifetimes fighting for, essentially, in a ways, kind of a lie. I'm kind of curious on what he says is he is determined as being the truth. And it's also interesting that he said that he didn't invite the end of the world, because remember that he killed / wanted us to kill Zodiark to reinstate the final days. But I'm wondering if in that process, he's like, well, suffering must happen, so I'm going to cause as much suffering as possible. That way the most amount of life can, happen, because suffering must happen. And so I invite the final days as the ultimate of suffering, if there's something along those lines.
I served a great ruler, powerful beyond measure. The world, his dominion. Yet even he and his vast empire were destined to fall, to become one with oblivion. At the end of life's journey lies only death.
For everyone, great and small.
So I ask you, why live at all?
So the truth that he found was that death is always at the end.
We torment. We murder. We are wicked, spiteful creatures, without exception. If life is so sacred, so precious, why fill it with such misery? Man wallows in a hell of his own making without purpose or meaning. To live is to suffer, and I would end that suffering by my own hand. It matters not if it flies in the face of all believed right and just. Death is the only solution.
I mean, he's basically echoing what Meteon said, right? Is that she would end the suffering by giving us all the sweet release of death. And he's basically in Meteon's camp of, well, if death is what's going to happen to everyone anyway, then just go ahead and kill everyone and be done with it.
That is my truth. My answer to the question. And yet,
it's an unsatisfying answer.
Even as the words pass my lips, I am filled with doubt. Has my search reached its end? Was this the only way? After all these years.
It's one thing to go out by your own hand, but it's another to take everybody else with you.
Is this the answer I was hoping for?
No, you were hoping for something a lot more. And I think the fact that you didn't get a better answer is what's caused you.
How it vexes me to see your conviction falter at the last. Fandaniel, still clinging to existence, I see.
Do I recognize that voice?
You who champion death so fervently, unwilling to accept your own, refusing to be purified and swept into the sea of souls. As do I.
Sounds like other Fandaniel.
We prisoners to memory, watching as the world turns. Though unlike me, you will be spared the ignominy of having your corpse made a puppet, dancing to another's tune.
Is that Arcee?
So it is Fandaniel, but it's the, because again, keep in mind that it's Hermes. Hermes' reflection was Amon. Amon was Fandaniel, but Fandaniel had just taken over Asahi's body, and Asahi, the brother of Yotsuyu, crazy Asahi, died, but then his body became Fandaniel's puppet of choice.
How very astute.
Oh my gosh.
Let me be clear. I have not come to consort with the likes of you.
I just call everyone Fandaniel. It's just like calling everyone an Ascian. They're all Fandaniel. Everyone's Fandaniel. It's like saying everyone's Hermes. Asahi's still angry. I came to get revenge on my body.
The state of the world following my untimely demise. In fact, I delight in mankind's downfall and the anguish it brings the savior of the savages. If I played some small part in the chaos, all the better. Not that I was in any position to resist. But to be made accomplice to the betrayal of Lord Xenos.
Unforgivable.
I would die 1,000 deaths to exact my vengeance.
Crazy Eyes is back.
Now you are at my mercy. I shall drag us both into oblivion, and you will never see the fulfillment of your magnum opus. Even should you be reborn, your desperate search for answers must start again.
You really had it out for Xenos, didn't you? Next time we'll find the answer together. Find a better answer. I'll do what must be done. I think in a way it's that if we prevent the end of the world, we are providing an alternative to the answer that he found so unsatisfactory. Man, both of these are really good. I don't like silence. I kind of like the hopeful, the response. I kind of like the hopeful response. Next time, we'll find the answer together. The idea that if you are reborn, we'll find the answer together. I think it's just the most hopeful response. It says, you know, look to the future. Well, I think it'd be even a better answer would be next time we'll find a better answer.
Even here, even now,
We'll find a better answer in the future.
you have every right to hate me. For the fool I was. For the monster I became. But I will not beg forgiveness. The tale of Hermes, the man who knew so much, yet understood so little, ends here.
What's wild is how many times that we've fought him and dealt with him without even knowing that it was all kind of the same person.
Don't try to follow me. I had more of you people than I could stomach in life. Never mind in death.
Likewise. I pray we do not meet again.
Wow, Alfino is so cold.
You had better hope not.
I saw he was just flat done. I've had enough of you even in death. Bro. Yeah, just absolutely cold and
Hydaelyn is waiting.
unregretful in every way. I think everyone's a little tired of Asahi's bowl. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. This whole thing is just to talk to Hydaelyn, and here we are actually getting a chance to talk to Hydaelyn, maybe, hopefully. There's so much that's just unknown. We just never know, right? Maybe Hydaelyn's not even here. Maybe she's gone on vacation. Oh, it's actual Hydaelyn. Duh!
Brave travelers, I welcome you.
I should have expected it with the floating crystals everywhere. Whoa! Okay. Hi. You look different. Try not to blush. We meet again, Vena. So you do look different. Only 10,000 years of time has passed.
I see. Thou didst journey unto Elpis. And now, the rivers of time converge. I know why you have come. Yet I would hear you speak your reasons all the same.
You created the moon to deliver mankind from the final days. But is that really how it has to end? We do not wish to abandon this world. We want to protect the source and all of its shards.
If I had to guess, she created the moon as a way to escape the final days as an option. But it's really up to mankind to choose. And she can't make that choice for us. It's kind of that difference of I'm providing choices, but you have to pick.
To flee is but one of two paths.
Hmm.
The other leadeth to Meteon, far beyond the stars, where she doth chant creation's requiem. Her domain is formed of dynamis, pure, absolute.
Oh, the little
Emotion and memory
ring
are
of
unborn.
crystals.
Ether will avail you naught. Meteon hath gathered the pain and despair of countless stars, and to go unprepared is to go unto your doom.
We'll beat her. We'll win. I swear it. Is what I might have said once.
At least it's grown up too.
After everything I've seen, all the times I've succumbed to my own anger and fear. I can no longer pretend that courage and faith will be enough. But are we truly so powerless that our only choice is to flee?
Far from it, my child. Long ago, the inhabitants of myriad stars, many more prosperous than Ethereal, sought to free their worlds from life's woes. Sorrow and anger, conflict and hostility, despair, and even death itself. But as Meteon reported, every attempt ended in failure. Darkness abideth within every living being, and can never be cast out. Neither reason nor faith can challenge this immutable truth. To live is to suffer. And in suffering, find strength, and purpose, and hope.
One causes the other.
As you have done so many times before.
It's not that one is to eliminate the other, it's that one
Thou
is the
hast
core of the
pursued
other.
an impossible dream. Yet knowing this, You pursue it nevertheless, and thou hast learned to depend on others as they do thee. Thy yearning for the power to save the powerless hath ever driven thee to greater heights. Thou hast grown strong. Though those closest to thee no longer walketh by thy side, their love remaineth thy guiding light. For duty's sake, thou hast been bound by truths unutterable time and time again. Yet thy heart hath never wavered, as thy companions will attest. In thy pursuit of mysteries great, all thou believest is brought into question. Undaunted, thy thirst for knowledge remaineth unquenched. The fires of hatred that once burned in thy heart burneth no more. From their ashes doth spring the light of love, warm and pure. As witness to black calamity, thou despaired at man's helplessness. Resolved, thou didst unite a distant world on the brink of collapse.
Even against all possible hope. Like Graha has been through the thick of it.
And thou, my champion, when all did seem lost, thou never abandoned hope. For every trial and every foe that did bar thy way, thou hast proven equal to the challenge, drawing courage from the many bonds forged on thy journey.
Many bonds of all of you all in chat. Hey Coffee, how's it going?
You've all known despair, and though the end approacheth, you walk on, heads held high.
I like that even in the approaching of the end, instead of cowering in fear or instead of raging into the black, walk forward, heads held high. Like, I know that death comes for all of us, and I have a hard time processing that sometimes. And as a Christian, I believe there is life after death, but I still have those moments where there's kind of just this check, and I'm just like, I don't know, how would I respond? I don't think it's something you know until that moment, but I want to be the type of person that would walk through that with the head held high.
Therein lieth your power, the strength to silence the song of oblivion.
Head held high.
There is a means to confront her.
Yes, if you should prove yourselves worthy. Hark!
Oh, that's her sword. That's the sword that she summoned.
How impossible is it to send mortals to the edge of the universe? Should you fail, there will be no second chance.
The music.
As the will of the star, I ask of you this.
It's like an epic version of Answers.
To stand firm when all around you doth crumble. Do you possess the faith to vanquish despair itself? Should you lack the strength to best a supreme deity, I cannot allow you to make the journey. You must leave this star and never return. Prepare yourselves.
Holy frick!
Prove ourselves worthy, then. Sounds straightforward enough.
Aye. No room for confusion there.
In any case, we've come too far to back down now.
It was way too cool for his own good.
I am of the same mind. What power I have, I shall bring to bear.
The three of you seem to be forgetting who we're up against. It's not every day we battle a divine being of untold power. Well, not quite every day.
Except for the people that do savage runs.
Underfoot. Needless to say, there'll be no margin for error.
Let us hold nothing back. For the people of this world and those beyond the rift.
I love for Graha, it really is about the people of the first.
Alas, the question I posed to thee in Elpis hath remained unanswered these long years. I would hear thy response, warrior of light. Shouldst thou emerge victorious?
Punch Mom respectfully.